All right, g'day fellas, welcome back. Today I wanted to show off a new little fun build I've been working on in the background. Um, I'm going to just start by just jumping straight into a monolith to show you. Okay, so we'll go into just a empowered monolith real quick. All right, so what you do with this build is you start running, okay, and you just keep running. All right, and then as you run, you win the game. As you can see, the range of this is ridiculous. The way it works is if something aggroes you, it says if something's looking at you, they take X damage, right? But it's if they're aggroed, they start taking damage. Because even when a loot goblin or a loot lizard is running away from you, it will still be taking damage because it's technically in aggro with you. So yeah, that's how it's going at the moment. When we block, we have a chance of throwing shield throw. We can summon these shields around us, which will heal us and do a bunch of other stuff. I'm currently just working on getting my endurance level up and getting some rolls on my gear with health. You'll see my gear soon. It is very rough. Um, but we can just get out of here and we'll go over what's happening. All right, so starting off with the gear, because that explains everything. We are using Thicket of Blinding Light. Between 121 to 209 damage reflected to attackers. Every zero point 0.5 seconds, you blind all enemies facing you. It should say blind all enemies aggro to you. And deal damage to them equal to your damage reflected to attackers' stat. Okay? 329 to 401% are the rolls. More damage reflected to bosses and rare enemies. Up to 83% increased armor. Up to 29% more armor against blinded enemies. Everything that looks at you gets blinded. Up to 41 physical resistance. And then another big damage multiplier for us is up to 17 damage reflected to attackers per 10% uncapped physical resistance. So what does all this mean? This means we are getting damage reflected to attackers wherever we can. Okay, so for instance, this chest piece, I slammed a tier 7 damage reflected to attackers on it. This shield could have a slam on it. I got the armor. I would have preferred to get the reflected damage, but you could get a tier 7 reflected damage on here as well. It also comes with 80 damage reflected to attackers. Okay. And the other cool thing about this shield is +1 throwing damage per shield, for shield throw per 10 damage reflected. So we're going to get a bunch of free flat throwing damage for our shield throw just because we're stacking so much reflect damage. Okay. A few other things. I've just thrown this on. It might be better to use an exalted item. This just has 100% of damage is reflected. And then as for all my other gear at the moment, I'll just glance over it. You can see what I'm going for here. The top two stats on this item are pretty useless. The healing effectiveness isn't completely useless, but physical resistance and flat health, great, perfect. That's seven. Remember, we're getting 17 reflect damage per 10% uncapped physical resist. So that's a lot of reflect damage on that ring. The belt it's the same sort of thing. It would be nice if we could get an exalted physical resist on here. That's something I want to work on. And then percent health increase. This ring, it's the same sort of thing. I put on some throw damage on this one, so that's kind of nice. Physical res would be nice to get rid of the necrotic resist and put more life on here. For the gloves, I would love to have exalted phys res on here with the block chance as well. The weapon, I've just picked up a Dreamthorn, and the main reason for that is the 20% block chance, okay? We're doing reflect damage, so nothing we really do needs a weapon at the moment. So 20% block chance, 32 life gained on block, both very nice. We do get void penetration, which is also nice because we are converting our shield throw and smite to void. And we get block effectiveness. Now the reason we're getting block is back to the shield, 30% chance to retaliate with shield throw on block up to 2 times. Also, when we block, we have a chance to cast Ring of Shields. Okay, so block chance is really nice. Get it as high as possible. I think I'm at about 92% block at the moment. Moving on from there, I've got a pretty bad helmet here. It's got flat health, phys res, +2 to shields. I want to use something more along the lines of this. If this had, instead of increased armor, physical resist with the endurance, a higher level shield throw and strength, and then the base item has reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes. If we can get that to roll higher, to like an 85% roll, would be amazing. This will solve our problem of getting hurt by critical strikes. At the moment, I don't have any critical strike mitigation, and I'm still doing empowereds, and I'm dying very rarely. But future proof, we need to get this. Okay. So that is that. You know, I'm going to put that on right now. I just realized I've reached 85, so that's going to help. Moving on, this amulet, so the Warrior's Bone amulet, so the bone base type comes with physical resist in the prefix. Not the prefix, the top section. I forget what it's called. 40 physical resistance and 24 necrotic resist. And I've also slammed physical resist on here. I would like to get health on here, maybe some throw damage and some other things, but at the moment I really just want to aim for physical resist everywhere I can get it and health everywhere I can get it to boost my health pool up, and then get some endurance threshold to really, you know, round out my health pool so I don't get one shot by stuff. Because we do have a lot of crazy healing on this build, so as long as we don't like insta die, we're pretty tough. Okay. As for idols, I am running one of these, chance to cast smite, and I am running this 100% of shield throw base damage converted to void. And then we want as many of these idols as we can get. Okay, these are going to get expensive with this video, but the damage reflect idols can roll up to 150 reflect damage and 15% of all damage reflected. Okay, so if we can fill out the rest of this idol slots with these damage reflected idols, we are gonna hit like a truck. Until then, I would just recommend filling phys res idols in wherever you can, to give yourself some sort of extra damage. Like this idol here is, what's that, like 34 reflect damage. So it helps a little bit. Now we may end up getting rid of smite and getting rid of this idol, and that will give us 4 more spots. I am currently leveling up my void tree to see if I can put in volatile orbs, but that's a test for another day. All right. As for blessings, I want to get health. I want to get endurance. I want to get health regen. I want to get the block if I can. I would like to get any resistances that I might need to finish off. And that should do us pretty well. Okay. Moving on. Let's go to the actual class and skill setup for the build. So we'll start off here. Now, if you think of anything that will giga buff this build, please come to my Discord, yell at me, send me a DM. I'm open to any changes because this is very experimental at the moment. But I've taken 8 points Juggernaut, 1 point Fearless, 1 point Saltwort, 5 points into Armorclad, and 5 points into Vigilance. Then we come over to the Forge Guard, and we've taken 2 points into Weapon Master, 9 points into Pelted for the throw damage. Steel Aegis, we've got a few points in a Rallying Block. Max this out. You want to get at least 5 points in this as soon as possible. So you can see here, damage taken by attackers when hit gives us 240 more reflect damage, but it also damage reflected per 1% armor mitigation is 5. So you're going to get 5 reflect damage per 1% armor mitigation you have. So if you can get 70% armor mitigation times that by 5, that's your reflect damage. Okay. Now, another important point, I think, is going to be this Iron Reflexes. Getting 5 points in this to remove your dodge rating and change it to armor is going to be really good. Not only does that give us more reflect damage, but the problem with dodging is if you dodge an attack, you don't reflect the damage. Pretty simple, right? So we get rid of that so that we reflect more damage. Going over into Might, 6 strength, increased health. Armor with shields, 300. And Wall of Solemn. This gives us 3% more block chance. And some less damage taken. And then come over here and grab... Oh, sorry, that doesn't give you block chance. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Don't listen to me. Shield Crafter, you have a chance to cast a shield from Ring of Shields when you block. Okay, so at the moment, chance to cast a shield on block is 50%. So pretty much every second hit, I'm casting a shield because I block 90% of the time. Okay, block effectiveness goes up, increased minion health goes up, increased minion armor goes up. Okay. As you can see, the shield does count as a minion. Just a little FYI. Okay, moving over into Paladin. Paladin, we like to come through here. We want to grab... We're just putting these points in. They don't benefit us in a massive way. The endurance is nice from this node, but most of the other stuff, it's not a huge benefit. The main thing we're going for is Healing Hands and Symbol of Hope. Okay, we want these 2 nodes. Moving on over into Void. This is where I'm currently working into. So I've taken 10 in here for the 40 Fizz Res, 40 Void Res, and 80 health. Just really nice. I put 1 point into Void damage, and now I'm starting to put points into here. Whenever you kill an enemy, you have a chance to absorb 5% of their health. Chance to absorb health on kill, 5%. So I'm testing to see if the kills count with the reflect damage. I'm pretty sure they will. If so, it's going to be a massive survivability increase for us. Okay. And I'm slowly working towards Devouring Orb. I'm going to do some little testing with it. Probably won't be that good, but worst case scenario, we can apply some slows and other things with it. Okay, so that is the passives. Moving on to the skills. let's go into our shields first. So the first thing I did here was I went up to 1 point here, 2 points here, 2 points here, 2 points here. Then I came down southeast, 2 points here, 2 points here, 1 point here, damage reflected 10% when you have your shields up. Mana cost reduction 2 points here, heal amount on shield death 150. I'll probably put 1 more point in here to get it to 200. That means every time one of your shields die or despawn, we get healed, okay? It's very nice. I tell you right now, when you're getting swarmed and those shields are dying around you, your health is just going up, up, up. Not to mention the added heals from our smite as well, which we'll get into in a second. Okay, moving on to healing hands. Healing hands, first thing I did was 2 points into Hand of Irilus. This does nothing for us. We don't cast smite ourselves. This is just to get up here. Okay, dash to the target location, and then immune while moving. So this turns healing hands into a 4.6 second cooldown. Well, it's a 3 second cooldown by default, into a dash, so a teleport. Or not teleport, it's more of a dash. But while you're moving with healing hands, not only do you get to heal yourself, but you also are completely immune to damage. So when it comes to bosses like Aberoth or Reign of Dragons, where there's big area of effect attacks, if you time this correctly, you can just immune the damage without getting out of the damage. Okay? Very strong ability. Moving down, we just grab 1 point here, 1 point here, 3 points here, 4 points here, and then we're just getting some healing stuff to subsidize, make it into a health potion pretty much. Alright, moving on to smite. We just grab these nodes to remove the cost of smite, change it to void for fun. Come up here, healing area, health regained on heal, and smite healing 200%. So now whenever our smite automatically gets cast by shield throw with the idol we're using, the area of effect will heal us and top us up. Just another form of staying alive, okay? We're not after the damage on this skill at all. Okay, we could put a point into blind here. Might be worth it, but we are blinding pretty much everything all the time, so I've sort of negated this for the time being. Moving on to Symbols of Hope. Symbols of Hope, first points, just 2 points here, 2 points here, 1 point here, 2 points here, 3 points here, 1 point here, then 3 points here, 3 points here, 1 point here. You can grab this, double health regen from your symbols to only affect you. If you're playing in a party, don't use this symbol. And then, yeah, just fill it out how you see here. It'll add a bunch of damage for us to our shield throw, and yep. Over into shield throw. First thing we do is we go straight up, shield barrage. This allows us to cast shield. Shield has no more cooldown. We come up here, we grab some additional ricochets, additional ricochets, so it bounces more. Come down here, more ricochets, and then just fill in the rest of this in whichever order you want. The middle tree is very powerful. Base crit chance, crit multi per block, okay? And yep, that's that. Just shield throw can be a subset. You can either cast it yourself if you really want to, or you can be lazy like me and just let it cast when you block, and it will shoot out and do some fun stuff and heal you. All right, so that is the build guide. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to wrap it up there. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any ways you think of making this build better, or even maybe another class in general using the chess piece to reflect, I would love to see what you guys come up with. Join the Discord, drop a link to the build, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.